Welcome home, good hunter. I'm Ash, this is Ash Quest, and today we look at Bloodborne, the board game, a game by Michael Shinall and Eric M. Lang. Published by Simon Games, this is an official licensed Sony product and is based on the infamous Soulsborne game of the same name. I myself am a Bloodborne veteran, having screamed my head off at the environments, the jump scares, and the bosses, and that's before we even get to the difficulty. The brutal difficulty of the Bloodborne game is native to any game that FromSoft produces and is revered in the world of gaming. And the board game seems to pay tribute to this feature. The blood moon rises into the night sky, pushing the city of Yharnam into madness and chaos. Hunters are tasked with cleansing the infected victims of the beast plague on this night of the hunt. Should they tarry or fail their task, Yharnam will succumb to insanity and death. The moon is close. It will be a long hunt. Bloodborne, the board game, is a dark and challenging cooperative game where 1 to 4 hunters must explore the city of Yharnam, playing through 4 unique campaigns and fighting their way through beasts and monsters to survive the night. During the course of a campaign, hunters will uncover a unique story as they grow in skill and power, overcoming the multitude of foes that stand in their way. This game is based on the award-winning Bloodborne video game by Sony Interactive Entertainment and features fast-paced, decision-driven combat and horrific monsters brought to life with amazing miniatures. That's enough of their description of their own game. It's time to see what exactly we're dealing with. Nothing on the underside of the box. We have a horrifying rulebook featuring the awesome silhouette of a hunter. Bloodborne is played as a campaign, a series of 3 individual but interconnected games called chapters. There are 4 campaigns in this box. Over the course of each campaign, hunters will grow in skill and power, and players will uncover a unique story, should they survive long enough. The rulebook is well structured, has plenty of delicious visuals and lots of examples, makes it clear when you win, when you lose, and how these events occur, explains consumables, rewards, and firearms, resolution of combat, blood echoes, boss enemies, NPC enemies, additional rules progressing the campaign, and a glossary as well as iconography. Lovely. Free Simon content. Get it here. Go ahead, get it here. Okay. We have our tiles. They're immediately recognizable if you are a Bloodborne enjoyer. Look at this. We have all kinds of greats from the game. We have Eileen the Crow. We have Dr. Iosefka. We have Henrik, Jura, Alfred, the Bloody Crow, Dra's ally. We have plenty of these Bloodborne symbol tokens, the Hunter's Mark, wound markers, tokens for insight. In the video game, insight was a stat that if it was high enough, you'd be able to see, well, you'd be able to see things that you wouldn't be able to see if you had low insight. We'll put it that way. The map tiles. Very curious. These are all a standard size. They do not follow a grid convention. Instead, they are illustrated rooms with points that are lined out and separated. Each one has defined entrances and exits and their own environmental effects, and they are named for locations that are in the game. Odin Chapel here, for example, enemy attacks suffer -1 arrow while on this tile. Church of the Good Chalice. 1 treasure may be used to gain 1 blood echo. And we have our icons on each tile of this. On the Grand Cathedral, interact on any space, heal 2. We have more. This, the Tomb of Odin, the Great Bridge, and the Central Lamp. These tiles are not double-sided. The reverse side, I mean, technically they are, but the reverse side is just an image of the hunter. I believe I've had this game for about a year, and I'm just now unboxing and unpunching it. I guess I'm punching it. Iosefka's Clinic, more alleyways, ransacked houses, occupied houses. It's not really accurate. We're not inside the occupied house. We're outside, knocking on the doors, telling people to move it or lose it. The barred window and some unnamed locations, different configurations of entrances, exits, and tiles that will serve as the playground for our adventurers. I've hung on to this game for a while because I've been procrastinating and because there's been other stuff that's come out. Courtyard lamp, graveyard, alleyway. My goal here before the year ends is to make sure that this game is fun or not fun for me, and then I can decide whether or not I want to go on collecting the expansions, of which there are many. The expansions are named for the major areas that you can travel to from the Hunter's Dream in the base game as you progress and defeat bosses, light more lanterns. We have the Hunter's Dream chapter, enemy 1, 2, and 3, each marked with a different symbol. It looks like this is how we keep track of the progression of the game with this card, which also has the branding on the opposite side. And a beautiful box that will house the minis. Welcome home, good hunter indeed. Free digital content, get it here. I'm gonna set this aside for just a minute to access the bottom part of this box, in which we will find the hunter dashboards. This is a game for 1 to 4 players, and you're all your own dungeon masters. In other words, all of the enemies are controlled by their own algorithmic behavior. You've all got your own spots for trick weapons, firearms, blood echoes, and hit points. The reverse side just has branding, and then the bottom of the box is very nicely laid out in terms of decks and placement of stuff. You could just take this tray out and you'd have all of your stuff nicely arranged. We have 4 classes of hunter. It doesn't look like anybody can be the same. However, these are double-sided. Say these aren't so much classes as they are what is your main weapon. So this is the saw cleaver, which allows you to get quick cut, or slash. Attacks with stagger also deal 1 wound, or hit point I guess I should say, on kill, draw 1, and heal 1. If you flip this over, it's different. You have quick cut, slash, and heavy carve. It kind of looks like the reverse side of this is the advanced version. We're just moving a little further to the right with these abilities. The threaded cane allows you to quick slash, flay, and flay. When you dodge, deal 1 wound to all enemies within 1 space, and then stagger can affect enemy attacks at the same speed. Quick cut, slash, deadly thrust. Our other weapons include the Hunter Axe and Ludwig's Holy Blade, which I believe I've completed the game with the Hunter Axe, and then later Ludwig's Holy Blade. We have player aids here. Action, each uses 1 card. Attack, move to, interact, transform weapon, or go to the Hunter's Dream. Round summaries include the start of the round, in which hunters refill hands to 3 and advance the hunt track by 1 space. The hunter turn performs actions, and the end of hunter turn, enemies within 1 tile activates. In the Hunter's Dream, you advance the hunt track by 1 space, buy upgrades, and refresh the hunter's deck and dashboard. On the next turn, respawn on a lantern space. For attacking, place a stat card in an empty attack slot of the trick weapon. Attack gains the effects of that stat card. Cards are only removed when the trick weapon transforms. And reward cards. Hunters may have up to 2 Carol runes and up to 2 Hunter Tool reward cards at any time. There are effect keywords, such as dodge. After seeing the enemy action, place a dodge card in an empty attack slot with the same speed or faster. Suffer no wounds and ignore attack effects. Stagger. Cancel the enemy attack with slower speed. Stun. Hunter must discard 1 card. If they cannot, they suffer 1 wound. And Frenzy. Gain 1 Frenzy token. The hunter suffers +1 wound from all attacks. Remove the token when the hunter goes to the dream. Poison. Gain 1 poison token. The hunter suffers 1 wound at the end of each turn. Remove the token when the hunter goes to the dream. Interesting mechanics inferred from the player aid. We've got different monsters here, and they are also double-sided, with different actions depending on what side we're looking at here. We've got the Hunter Mob, with a basic attack of Axe Swing, a special of Rifle Shot, and an ability Molotov Toss. Much like I'm really there. The opposite side has Axe Swing and Shield Bass, along with Mob Frenzy. Other enemies include the Huntsman's Minion, the Scourge Beast, the Church Servant, the Male Beast Patient, the Female Beast Patient, the Church Giant, the Old Hunter Jura, Alfred, Hunter of Vile Bloods, Dejura's ally, Eileen the Crow, Yosefka, Old Hunter Henrik, and the Bloody Crow of Canehurst. More decks are hidden here within the confines. We've got our action cards, we've got our item cards, consumables, Bone Marrow Ash. This must be loot because we have Yosefka's Blood Vial and the Carol Rune Eye. More actions and enemy actions. Quick Bite. The Repeating Pistol. These are the weapon cards. Hunter turn. Discard 1 card to refresh or for free when you transform your weapon. These are part of the chapters here, the scenarios, the campaigns. The Fall of Old Yarnum, followed by Growing Madness, followed by The Long Hunt, and then Secrets of the Church. So I can tell you now the expansions continue the story from this portion of the game in the order of the video game. There's a little bit of sequence breaking you can do in the video game. There's some places you can tackle kind of sort of out of order, but just about every aspect of the game is covered in the board game and its expansions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the miniatures, which I'm sure are going to be very epic, and they have to be because this is an extremely great opportunity. Hold up, how does this box, are you kidding me? It's not pizza box style. How dare you not pizza box your miniatures? I am offended. A visual feast. And we have the ability to place these player marker rings on our player miniatures, so we all know who's what at a glance if we don't paint our stuff. Which painting will not be necessary to separate the heroes from the villains for this, because our heroes are this lovely drab. You know what? This has a name, this color. I think there's a lot of miniatures that are offered with this color now, and I don't know what it is. We're gonna get a close-up look at these guys. They are really nice. This would be Ludwig's Holy Blade, the Hunter's Axe, and yeah, the detail on the miniatures is great. There's not too much of anything. The Saw Cleaver, definitely the most iconic of all the Hunters. Although this silhouette is quite shared by the holder of the Threaded Cane. I'm not quite sure, or rather quite remember what this ranged weapon they're holding is called. Next up, we've got the female beast patient. What is under the hood? Well, I'm sorry I looked. And the male beast patient. It can kind of be hard to see what you're looking at here. Kind of hard to make it out until you realize what exactly is going on. If you've played Bloodborne, you know what it is you're seeing here, but if you're a first timer, you've got to decipher these details. Another miniature here. This kind of looks like it's supposed to represent the huntsman's minion, but I think not. I think these characters are probably named in their respective campaign decks. I know this guy. He's the boss. He's the first real boss you fight. I can't remember his name. You fight him in the graveyard. The hunter mobs are really cool. We've got 3 people on the same stand, outfitted with torches, lanterns, guns, axes, shields. Lots of possibilities with this. Lots. There's the huntsman's minion. This guy is ready to smash you with a brick. And who wouldn't be? I mean, he's just excited to see you. What can I say? You'll face off against a couple of these guys and they'll really feel like bosses, but they're just the beginning of your horrific nightmare. We have 4 of them. Yay! As well as another 3 hunters mobs. The Scourge Beast is another miniature that represents a monster I had a lot of trouble with the first, 200 times I fought them, but this is a regular mob, not even a boss, and these guys will prowl the streets in the multitudes. I think I'll be just as panicked when I run into all 4 of them on the board, or even one of them on the board. I think this is our Cleric Beast, which I lied. This is the first real boss you fight in the game. The other guy is the second. Geldman? Gehrman, that was his name. Maybe it's pronounced German. This is the Cleric Beast, right? We have 4 of these really clean, dapper church servants. These guys are kind of a pain in the butt as soon as you fight them for the first time, but then you realize they're really slow. They just hit really, really hard, so don't get hit. And then we have the Church Giant, and I feel like we were spoiled with this sculpt because they really are huge. They're actually a little bit bigger than that in the game, but it doesn't matter. Getting a sculpt that's this big is just a treat, and it's very nicely representative of the monster. For some reason, there's 4 of them, and I'm pretty sure not once in the entire game do you face off against 4 of these monsters at the same time. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. I only played Bloodborne the once. Beat it the once and chucked it into my yard so it couldn't hurt me or anyone else ever again. This beautiful lady you encounter in the church in Odin. And yeah, I always really liked this particular character. She's really cool. She does a lot of shrieking when you fight her, but very wolfmanish or wolfwomanish in this case. Her hands, look at her lovely sculpted hands. Not exactly a wolf. I mean, this is a game about people turning into beasts of unnameable varieties, but I'm so glad to have this sculpt. It's really cool to have her. This is the Cleric Beast. This is the largest and biggest bad that comes with the Bloodborne base game. This guy is outright monstrous, and he looks amazing. I'm hoping I didn't get any. Bloodborne is a really great game if you're any kind of Soulsborne fan. For a lot of people, it's the greatest of the From Software Souls games, even though it's not a Dark Souls game. And it is half the reason that the term Soulsborne exists, to describe such games. Now, we looked at the rulebook, but the rulebook doesn't actually have any of the adventures, so to speak, in it, and there is no separate adventure book, so all of this is determined by the respective adventure decks. So before we go, we're going to take a look at said deck. checking out the Fall of Old Yarnum introduction. This is basically just a lore introduction. And then we get the Chapter 1 setup, what tiles we're going to need, what enemies we're going to need, and special rules cards. The missions are outlined on the reverse of this card. At the start of the hunt, reveal card 2, and end a move on the courtyard lamp tile, reveal card 10, occupied house tile, reveal card 13. When the hunt track reaches the first red space, mark this with an insight token, reveal card 15. That's for Chapter 1. And then the Fall of Old Yarnum's cards are numbered from 1 to 54. So this adventure will actually play out exactly according to the instructions on each card you are instructed to draw, and then the instructions that you gain from furthering your adventure. Really, really cool. We'll go ahead and preview a few of them. 1. Antidote. While in the Hunter's Dream, hunters may discard 1 consumable and replace it with 1 antidote card from the consumables deck or discard pile. 2. Hunt Mission. Missing powder kegs. Enter the old hamlet. You find its buildings and homes in disrepair and neglect, an eerie quiet seemingly overtaking its streets. While far less populated, blah blah blah. End a move on the alleyway tile, reveal card 3. If we ended our move on the courtyard lamp tile, we would reveal card 10, and card 10 is as such. Infected Townsfolk. This is an insight mission. Reveal card 11. Surround the courtyard lamp tile with fog gates. Spawn 1 hunter mob on its lantern space. It responds to this place on red token icon. Complete this mission by slaying this hunter mob and reveal card 12, which then goes on to say, mysterious symptoms. Distribute the Evelyn firearm among the hunters. I've never played a game quite like this before, one that's laid out in such a way that progresses simply by the actions indicated by a deck of adventure cards. So this is going to be really, really cool to learn how to play and then play, hopefully. For now, that is Bloodborne, the board game. Please comment anything you like down below. Thank you so much for watching this unboxing, and with any luck, we may be able to see a video presentation of how the game is played and how horribly I will perish when attempting to undergo my first mission. I'm Ash. This was AshQuest. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Have a great rest of your day. Bye for now.